जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरदारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरदारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरदारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरदारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय जगन्नाथ जय बलादेवा जय सुभद्रा। जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता। जय सचिनंदन जय सचिनंदन जय सचिनंदन गौर हरे। गौरा गौरा गौर हरे। गौरा गौरा गौर हरे। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। निताय गौर हरि बोल। निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो जय गौर हरि। निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो जय गौर हरि। गौरा गौरा गौर हरि। गौरा गौरा गौर हरि। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। निताय गौर हरि बोल। नदिया बिहारी गौर हरि। मायापुर चंद गौरा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद निताय गो प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल एवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिविराजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमती श्री भक्ति वेदांत संशुपोपाद की जय। एवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिविराजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। नमाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदेव मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगामय यमुनामयी की जय। भक्ति देव तुलसी महारानी की जय। सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। निताय गौ प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि वो ऑल रीस्ट सिंबल डिवोटीज हरे कृष्ण ऑल रीस्ट सिंबल डिवोटीज हरे कृष्ण ऑल रीस्ट सिंबल डिवोटीज हरे कृष्ण ऑल रीस्ट श्री गुरु श्री गौरांगा श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारण निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पाश्चात्य देशतारण। Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized, verse number 2 to 6. Chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized, verse number 2. Please chant, repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टाप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। हरि ओम तत्सत्। 2.2 श्री भगवान उवाच कूटस्थ्वाकस्मलमिदं विषमे समुपस्थितम् अनार्यदुष्टम् अस्वर्ग्यम् अकीर्तिकरमार्जुन। श्री भगवान उवाच कूटस्थ्वाकस्मलमिदं विषमे समुपस्थितम् अनार्यदुष्टम् अस्वर्ग्यम् अकीर्तिकरमार्जुन। श्री भगवान उवाच कुटस्थ्वाकस्मलमिदं विषमे समुपस्थितम् अनार्यदुष्टम् अस्वर्ग्यम् अकीर्तिकरमार्जुन। Word to word translation. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Kuta, where from? Tva, unto you, Kasmalam, dirtiness, idam, this lamentation, Vishame, in this hour of crisis, Samupastitam, arrived, Anarya, persons who do not know the value of life, Justam, practiced by Asvargyam, which does not lead to higher planets, Akirti, infamy, Karam, the cause of Arjuna. O Arjuna, translation by Javanese, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, How have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. Please repeat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. Verse number 3. क्लैभ्यमास्मागमः पार्थ नैतत्त्वयि उपपाद्यते क्षुद्रं हृदय दौर्बल्यं त्यक्तोत्तिष्ठा परन्तप क्लैभ्यमास्मगमः पार्थ नैतत्त्वयि उपपाद्यते क्षुद्रं हृदय दौर्बल्यं त्यक्तोत्तिष्ठ परन्तप क्लैब्यमास्मागमपार्थ नैतत्त्वयि उपपद्यते क्षुद्रं हृदय दौर्बल्यं त्यक्तोत्तिष्ठा परन्तप. Word to word translation. Kshudram, no, Klaibyam, impotence. Masma, do not. Gamaha, take to. Partha, Vosana Pruta, na, never. Etat, this. Vai, unto you. Upapadyate, is befitting. Kshudram, petty. Hridaya, of the heart. Daurbalyam, weakness. Tekta, giving up. Uttishta, get up. Parantapa, O chastiser of the enemies. Translation. O Zanaprata, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise. O chastiser of the enemy. Please repeat. O Sanaprata, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise. O chastiser of the enemy. Verse number 4. Arjuna Vacha Katam Vishmam Aham Sankhe Dronam Cha Madhusudhana Ishubhi Pratiyochyami Pujarha Varisudhana. Arjuna Vacha Katam Vishmam Aham Sankhe Dronam Cha Madhusudhana Ishubhi Pratiyochyami Pujarha Varisudhana. Arjuna Vacha. Arjuna said, Katam, how? Bhishmam, Bhishma, Aham, I, Sankhe, in the fight. Dronam, Drona, Cha, also. Madhusudana, O killer of Madhu. Ishubhihi, with arrows. Pratiyochyami, shall counterattack. Pujar, how? Those who are worshipful. Arisudana, O killer of the enemies. Translation. Arjuna said, O killer of the enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with the arrows in battle? Men like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship. Please repeat. Arjuna said, O killer of the enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with arrows in battle? Men like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship. Verse number 5. Gurun hatva hi mahanubhavan shreyo bhoktum vaikshamapi haloke hatvartha kamamstu gurun ihaiva bunjiya bhogan rudra pradigdhan. Gurun hatva hi mahanubhavan shreyo bhoktum vaikshamapi haloke hatvartha kamamstu gurun ihaiva bunjiya bhogan rudra pradigdhan. Gurun hatva hi mahanubhavan shreyo bhoktum vaikshamapi haloke hatvartha kamam tu gurun ihaiva bunjiya bhogan rudra pradigdhan. Word to word translation. Gurun, the superiors, ahatva, not killing, he, certainly, mahanubhavan, great souls, shreya, it is better, bhoktum, to enjoy life, vaiksham, by begging, api, even, iha, in this life. In this life. So, where we are that? Where we are? Bhiksham, by begging, api, even, iha, in this life, loke, in this world, hatva, killing, artha, gain, kaman, desiring, tu, but, gurun, superiors, iha, in this world, eva, certainly, bunjiya, one has to enjoy, bogan, enjoyable things, rudra, blood, pradigdan, tainted with. Translation by Divine Gita Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. 2.5. It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Please repeat. It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Verse number 6. This verse will start. Na chaitad vidma kataran nagariyo yadva jayema yadiva na jayeyo yadyeva hatva na jijivi samas te avastita pramuke dartarashtra. न चैतद विद्मा कतरन्न करीयो यदि वा जयेम यदि वा न जयेयो जाने हत्वा न जिजीविषाम ते अवस्थिता प्रमुखे दार्तराष्ट्राः. 2.6. न चैतद विद्मः कतरन्न करीयो यदि वा जयेम यदि वा न जयेयो याने हत्वा न जिजीविषाम ते अवस्थिता प्रमुखे दार्तराष्ट्राः. Word to word translation. Na, nar, cha, also, etad, this. Vidmaha, do we know? Katarat, which, na, for us. Gariyaha, better. Yatva, whether. Jayema, we may conquer. Yadi, if. Va, or. Na, us. Jayu, they conquer. Yan, those who. Eva, certainly. Hatva, by killing. Na, never. Jijivi sama, we would want to live. They, all of them, avastitaah, are situated, pramuke, in the front, dartarashtraah, the sons of Dhritarashtra. Translation. Now, do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them? If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet, they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Do you repeat? Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Try to understand what Krishna is trying to tell us from these verses. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mokam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Krupa Tamaham Vande Sri Gurum Devatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Istram. Hari Om Tat Sat. Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubheva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Vaishnava Ki Jai. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktam ki jai. Thank you for joining. We are discussing from chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized, verse number 2 to 6. Happy Purushottam Mass. We have a lot to cover, so that's why cut short the Kirtan. We already started the verses. We will sing Chaurashtakam at the end of the class. So, here in this section, this is called, in this second chapter, many kinds of yogas are being described because Arjuna needs that knowledge now because of the current conditioning. And this is the pre-qualification. Just like Gajendra He initially thought his family and his power, his energy. He was the Gajendra. He was the king of all the elephants. Everybody knows the power of this elephant. When he was running, when he was going, everybody used to be very afraid of him. Heavy weight, not ordinary elephant. And then he has that feeling, I'm strong, my family, everybody is going to support me, nobody can beat me, I can protect myself. So that is the thought he had. But when the problem came, he fought also initially with crocodile for many years. At the end, only he could decide that now I cannot do this anymore. I'm losing my strength. I'm losing my everything. I'm losing my consciousness also. I'm about to die. So then that time when he decided, okay, whom to surrender? What can I do? So in that desperate situation, then he remembered from the past life of pious spirit Bhakti Unmukha Sukruti. Then Krishna has given the intelligence as Paramatma within the heart. Then he started thinking, praying to the Supreme. Immediately that second, Lord has come on the back of Garuda right away, appeared to protect him. So now the same situation is going to happen. In this case, Arjuna also in the same situation. That's why it is called pre-qualification. First section of this Bhagavad Gita, in this second chapter, 2.1 to 2.7. When Arjuna surrendered until 2.9, I would say, then 2.11 onwards, Krishna started speaking the Sankhya Yoga, difference between the body and soul, Jnana Yoga you can also call. That is until verse number 30. Then we have Karma Yoga, the duty, what a living entity must do according to Shastra. Then he is further going on from 40 to 55 or so, 54. Then he is talking about Nishkama Karma Yoga. Then 55 onward, he is talking about all the way to 67 or 68. Bhagavad Arpita Nishkama Karma Yoga, a little bit of Bhakti glimpse, not too much, too deep. Then he is talking about last verse, last section as Samadhi. So in this way, this chapter is divided. That's why it is contents of Gita summary. This chapter and 18th chapter is more or less. 18th chapter is little more summary, similar way of these various yogas, but it goes a little bit deeper. Shorter, but little bit deeper. Karma, Karma Mishra, Jnana, Jnana Mishra, Yoga, Yoga Mishra, and then finally ultimate surrender Bhakti. That way, the 18th chapter is also divided, similar to second chapter. Now, in this second chapter, here Krishna, first time Krishna is speaking. First chapter, Krishna is not speaking. Arjuna has asked Krishna, chariot driver, taken up infallible Achyuta, position of Achyuta, infallible chariot driver. Then Arjuna asked, bring the chariot. Senayor Ubhayor Madhya Ratam Stapayami Achyuta. He brought the chariot in between the armies. He saw the Bhishma and Drona. He released the arrows. Offering obeisances, they also shooted back, giving the blessings, you are going to win. So this, that is the whole first chapter. We see conversations between Duryodhana and his Dronacharya, and then Sanjaya speaking what is happening to Dhritarashtra, and then Arjuna. Then various sections we discussed. I will not repeat that chapter 1 sections. Now the chapter 2, with that Arjuna sat down on the chariot. Here it is mentioned Arjuna Vacha. Asuru Purna Kuleksham Visidantam Vidam Vakyam Vacha Madhusutana. Lord Krishna, seeing this position of an Arjuna sitting on the chariot, sat down on the chariot. Initial enthusiasm was there before he went on to fighting. Everything was arranged and he took the arrows, but then suddenly he brought down into that condition. He was degraded from the higher state of consciousness, mind, and then he is in now lower state of mind, lower consciousness. He is in the tamogun now. Now immediately this gives a glimpse. This is a giving indication how the relationship, how one any living entity who wants to progress, whether it's a material job or whether it's a business or in the spiritual, even it's even more important. Living entity needs, human being needs a mentor, guide, a spiritual master, and advanced devotees. So mentor and mentee relationship is very, very important. Here we can see that. So actual relationship hasn't started. here until he didn't fully surrender, but still there is a relationship. Because of that only Krishna has taken the chariot driver position. The relationship is already there, but he's only going to give. To the degree he is asking. So mentor, that's a receptivity must be there. In order for somebody to receive instruction, then mentor, in order for mentor or leader to give guide, to give instruction to that person, then he must be in a position to receive it. If he is not in a position, he is not in a receptive mode, he cannot give instructions. So till this time, right now, chapter 1, it is not in a situation where Krishna can give instructions. It is not going to sink at this time. So he is let it go. He didn't give instruction. Now he is just giving a little bit instigation. Here Krishna is speaking first time. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutasva Kashmalamidam Anaridushtam Asvargyam Akirtakaram Arjuna. So where from these impurities come upon you? This is called Kashmala means, Mala means dirty. Samala means purity without dirtiness. Kashmalam means here dirtiness. How this dirtiness has come upon you? So, and then next verse also is talking about further. He has instigated him, and he is also talking about various angles from this verse number 2. He is talking about you are not acting as an Aryan. Aryan means one who is always looking to progress from one step to another step. He is not trying to degrade. He understands what is the goal of life. He understands the various spheres of steps of progress of life, material sphere and spiritual sphere, and there is a progress. So that is what Aryan means. The Aryan civilization means one who understands the Shastra Chakshu. They have Shastra Chakshu, how to lead the life. So now that's why Krishna is bringing that. Not only that, he is also speaking, okay, if you don't want to do, then still you are not going to go to heavenly planets. Neither you are going to get, because of not doing the duty, whatever you are saying, you are going to give up this and go to forest. It's not going to give you even enjoyment. So even a heavenly planet you are not going to get. You are going to suffer. You have to go to hell for not doing the duty. Asvargam, Akirti means not even people will be glorifying you. Till now, everybody is glorifying you. Arjuna means Gandiva Bhav, and you are chivalrous, and you are the warrior, so many things. But minute you renounce and you run away from this, then everybody is going to bring so much infamy, Akirti. That is the worse than death for a Kshatriya like you. Why are you coming? How are this? How is this dirtiness? How is this kind of dirtiness is coming? It does not become you. Kirti Karam Arjuna. And then further, next third verse, both are interconnected. Further instigating is directly pointing out. Klebhyamasmagama parda naitatpai upapadyate. Chudram hridaya daurbalyam. Right away is telling that you have a weakness in the heart. Detect your position. So come out of this. How did this degrading importance? How did this weakness on the heart has been arising? So this is what is being described here. So that's a mentor-mentee relationship. We'll go in a little bit detail and we will discuss from the Chaitanya Charitamrita 3 levels of understanding from this, how the living entity, how the human being, how those are the practitioners of the path of spiritual life also can take the lessons here and can act on the lower modes if they are not rightly situated, if they are not receptive, they are not receiving instruction from a spiritual guide, from advanced devotee, from a spiritual master. So that's what we learn from these examples from Chaitanya Charitamrita also. So first here we have to understand how did this dirtiness coming. So for Arjuna, where this dirtiness is situated. So dirtiness is because of the ignorance of the knowledge, doesn't have the actual knowledge of the soul here. In order for Bhagavad Gita to come about, so Arjuna is put into this condition, but it is telling all of us this dirtiness. In order for the dirtiness to be removed, it is like we have to understand who is the proprietor. Here Arjuna is attached to the results. He is seeing the results already. Seeing the result that something we are going to kill Bhishma, Drona, all of them. So much sinful activity and all will be killed. That is what he is thinking already the result before even doing the duty. But Shastra is clearly telling anasrita karyam karma phalam karyam yati sannyasa. That is a real, actual, real civilized, real enlightened person, self-realized person must not be attached to the results. Anasrita. Asrita means taking shelter. Anasrita means not taking shelter. Anasrita karma phalam. Karma phalam means results. So here Arjuna is attached to the results. Like you are working in a hospital, so the property of the hospital equipment, your hospital blankets, everything belongs to the hospital. You can use only in the hospital. You cannot take anywhere else and use it. Same way, so your this body and senses belongs to Krishna. It's called Rishikesha. Means one is the controller of the senses. Mamai Vamso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So Aham Bija Pradapita. So many verses we see that I am the seed giving father. Krishna is telling. This body, you are part and parcel of Krishna. This is Krishna is telling in so many different ways. This body, the senses, everything. You are the part and parcel. I am the supreme father. You are my son and daughter. Krishna is telling. So then he is the proprietor. It must be used, utilized. Our senses, our body must be utilized in his service. The minute means the desires, the action must be aligned with Krishna. That's what Krishna Seelanam. So that is what is the highest purpose and highest benefit it will give. Here Arjuna is looking at attached to results. He wants to give up these. He doesn't want to be aligned with the desires of Krishna. He wants to give up. He is not understanding who is actually the proprietor of this. So that is the first problem statement here. So that's where the dirtiness is coming, is attached to results. So we should not be too much attached to results. If you are working in a bank, so if somebody is giving cash, somebody is withdrawing, somebody is depositing. So we shouldn't be worried about how much balance is there in the bank, or too much withdrawal is happening, no deposit is happening today. No, we shouldn't be too much worried. Same way, sometimes we see our children, or we also might have gone through this situation. People might have prepared for SAT exam or TOEFL, GRE, all months, all the way up to almost just a week before, few days before. Suddenly he changes mind. No, I don't want to write. Or the same day before he is going to exam. Imagine the situation of the parents. Imagine the situation of those who has given him the training, guidance. Imagine the situation of the parent who has paid the money for the tuition and everything for him to get it. And then same thing, not only SAT, sometimes people may go to masters or whatever. So much money is spent after going first year, second year, then he wants to move, I don't like this, I don't want to do this, I want to switch to something else. Imagine the situation. So that's why the constant guidance is required before itself. Initial enthusiasm may be there, but in order for that to continue, and constant guidance, constant enthusiasm and determination can only be there when we are supervised and guided by those who are advanced, those who are enlightened, those who are affectionate, those who are compassionate. Here Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is Supreme Father, is equal to all. Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, he is friendly to all. But his free will is there. Not everybody is going to surrender to him. So to those who are surrendering, who wants to really get lessons or instruction from him, to that degree Krishna is reciprocating in the Paramatma. Again he is coming out also as a spiritual master, as a Shastra, as a sadhu, so in various ways, as Siksha Gurus, Vartam Pradaksha Gurus, so many different ways Krishna is sending him for us to take us back. So that is the main here the context of this dirtiness must be removed by constantly, regularly, this chanting the holy name of the Lord and hearing the Krishna Katha, Srunotam Swa Katha, Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtan, Hridayam Tastohi Abhadrani, Hridaya, the whatever is there we have in the heart that will be removed, the dirtiness. That's what he needs enlightened knowledge. He needs self realization, self realized knowledge. Arjuna, that is what is currently is being um, uh, is currently being put in this condition so that he will receive this knowledge, and more than him we all will receive in future generations what we should do. So that is what is been mentioned here. So then in the next verse, we also see that weakness in the heart, hridaya daurbalyam. That is very important point. So the weakness in the heart happens. There are four reasons how weakness in the heart can happen. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains. There are in general four defects. Anartha Nivurti is a bigger step in any practitioner, Bhakti Yoga especially. It's a big step where it may take many millions of lifetimes also if you are not serious. So in that there are four main anarthas is there. Asat Trishna, and then Hridaya Daurbalyam, you have the offenses, Vishamai, and then last one also is there. Forget Asat Trishna, Hridaya Daurbalya, offenses, and Pratishtha. I think these are the four anarthas. Within that, this Hridaya Daurbalya, weakness in the heart, is one of them. In that also there is a four categories. What causes this weakness in the heart? In this case, Arjuna's case, first one is the one which is causing. So weakness in the heart can be caused by, first one is the trivial attachments, small things, petty attachment. Just like we are giving example, somebody has gone already decided which degree, which course he wants to go master, or he already decided SAT preparing all the way for a few months or a few maybe year. And then at the end, if he is deciding not to take, and imagine that is the situation. So that means he is attached to petty things. Either he has fear, he has something going on. Suddenly, some speculation has came up, or somebody has wrongly guided him. So many factors can be there. So these are all coming under trivial attachments. Krishna itara vishaya mai. So it is mentioned. So he is attached to the Vishaya, means material things. Krishna itara means other than Krishna. Maya. He is attached to this trivial attachment. He is attached to small things. So because of that, here also Arjuna is being this weakness in the heart is caused by this. He is attached to the results. He is attached to his own kinsmen, his own Bhishma, Drona, and his own family members. He is thinking small. He forgot his duty. That's why he is also using Pardha. Only on the namesake, Kshatriya, you are acting. You are son of Pruta. It means both mother and father side, Pandu's side and both sides. Vasudeva's sister, Vasudeva's sister, Pruta, Utti Maharani. So Vasudeva was a great warrior also. He has 16 wives and he is a great king. Same way the also Pandu was a great king. So both sides you should act. If you are coming in that lineage as a Kshatriya, you are supposed to fight. You are supposed to protect, but you are not acting. That means it is because of the trivial attachments. Then the second one is also the offense. Second one, trivial attachment. Let me see, I forgot. Yeah, these other three is also very important for us. Not so much here Arjuna's case. Fault finding, kutinati. Vishayamayi, and then Kutinati means fault finding, criticizing, trying to always, just like the crows are always assembled in dirty places. Swans are always assembled in pure places where clear water is there, where lotuses are there. That's when swans will assemble. But all the crows are always where the garbage is. So same way, so the Kutinati means we shouldn't be too much about criticizing, trying to find faults. Always we have to, because everybody has these tendencies. So we have to somehow or the other understand what is going on with our situation and then try to come out of that kind of situation, come out of this kind of unwanted things, where we should be looking after positive things. So, especially this Purushottam Mas, Damodar Mas, when these months, when the festival days, important days, auspicious days comes, if we practice that, try to talk less, as needed, we talk as much as we should avoid also criticizing or fault finding, and be tolerant despite whatever is going on, be patient, tolerant, not criticizing, not finding faults, then this helps in the rest of the months. This helps in the whole months. Otherwise, it's very difficult. So, to continue in this devotional practice, it becomes challenging, because this mentality will go on for many lifetimes. That's why it is compared with the Ashwadha Vriksha. So many deep rooted attachments in the heart of these unwanted things. So this is a fault finding Kutinati. Then the third one is mentioned as envy, paradroha, holding grudge against others. So that's why, first of all, we shouldn't have this kind of enviousness, like Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra has. In this case, Arjuna, this is not the position. Out of these four characteristics of weakness of heart, first one is the main thing, which is caused for Arjuna to be in this weakness. So the third one is the enviousness, means violence, or especially grudge against others. So sometimes, as devotees might create some situations, or others outside people also. But we shouldn't. If we are more already in the self-realized knowledge, then we shouldn't be worrying. We should leave those. Those are not important things for us to keep in our mind and brain. We shouldn't store this like in a database. Store these unwanted things in our heart, in our mind, in our intelligence. We should remove this garbage. We shouldn't be thinking about it at all. If somebody said something or something going on, we are participating in that, and then we shouldn't remember too much into that. Rather, we should be. That's why more we spend that time in hearing, more we spend that time thinking about the Lord, more we spend anything, something about the devotions of you or something positive, whatever. But rather than thinking about these, discussing with others what is happening, it's not going to help us. It's going to more, because the Sravana and Smarana, we have to come to hearing and chanting, then in the next stage we have to come to remembrance. Whatever, at the end of life also, at the time of death, we have to remember Krishna. That means whatever we practice, if we are remembering, the practice of remembering, when we are sleeping also, the dreams are coming up, all other unwanted things. That means we are focused on these unwanted things. Then that's what is coming up in the dream, that's what is going to happen. Come in the while chanting also, that's what is going to happen when we pass away from this body also. That's going to be not good at all. That means again we have to take up another species of life and go through this condition. So that's why this is very important to understand this Hridaya Daurbalyam. So the enviousness, if somebody has criticized, then maybe we shouldn't be in front of him. So we should maybe neglect him, we should stay out of his way, or we should minimize the interaction or talking with him, because more our heart will be agitated without trying external anything automatically, because in the heart already these things are built up. The minute we see that other devotee who has this, we have that situation before, then immediately those things will come up. So into our mind and intelligence, then it's unnecessarily we are thinking wrong against him. So, but only if we are compassionate, only when we are advanced, then when we know this situation is there, then those who are realized, then even if somebody criticizes, somebody is envious, then still we serve them. Serve them prasadam, taking care of them, and try to talk with them, at least chant Hare Krishna. We may minimize too much talking, but at least we will touch them, we will be praying for them. This is the advanced devotee characteristics. So in this way, then it will not bother us too much at that time. Otherwise, it will keep on bothering us. Why he has done this? So many things we will be thinking about that person and that situation. So that's why it is important to understand these things, and then find solutions to come out of these situations. This is the third thing on the Hridaya Daurbalya. The next one is the desire for personal aggrandizement, which is Pratishta. So, whatever services we may do, it could be because of our wealth or beauty or riches, strength, so many things. We may have some qualifications, whatever, compared to whatever the in devotion service, this is nothing. We should see, look at all these stalwart warriors, devotees in Prabhupada's movement. Compared to them, what we are dust particles. We are nothing. So we don't have any qualification to do even service. Imagine. So that's why it is very important to understand what is our position. So and then give up this pratishta. It takes time. It's not going to, because this is naturally we have this built up these unwanted things for many lifetimes. So that's why here from Arjuna's example we understand from the verse number 2 and 3 this dirtiness, kashmalam, and then kshudram hridaya daurbalyam, petty weakness in the heart must be removed. Now going back to Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can see how Kaliya Krishnadas, Kala Krishnadas example, Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken this devotee, as a regular devotee, has taken him while going to South India Yatra, South India tour. Mahaprabhu was going. And then at the place of North Kerala and then southern Karnataka, border around that area, there were a lot of gypsies and a lot of beautiful men and beautiful women. All kind, they know they have this mystic yoga. So somehow this Kala Krishna Das suddenly got attracted. This is because of trivial attachment, you can see. Despite being with Mahaprabhu, imagine. So that's why even with while being with Guru, while being in the moment, we have to be careful. It is a razor edge. We have to be careful, strongly or enthusiastically engage in devotion service, and we should be constantly praying to the Lord. Let me not be attracted by Maya. Let me not attracted by external energy. Otherwise, minute we think, oh, I've done such a nice service, I've done such a nice cooking, or whatever we think. Minute we think, the next day only. We don't need to wait. Next day only we will be put into a condition where Maya is grabbing us. So that's why that's why even including so Prabhupada himself praying to the Lord, because that is the position of a pure devotee. Is always humbly, always cautious, always surrendered fully and praying to the Supreme Lord, always be engaged, praying to his spiritual master. So that way, in that situation, then always we are clinging to the lotus feet of spiritual master and Supreme Lord, then there cannot be any situation, not even 1 second, will be into especially Mahamaya. Will be always be within the protection of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So here, so Kali Krishna Das, because of the, still has attachment, he was not so much enthusiastic, he was not determined, he didn't take seriously so Mahaprabhu's service, and then he was attached to seeing these beautiful men and women, seeing their magic and mystic powers. He was attracted, and then they caught him. So then Mahaprabhu understood what's happening. And as Mahaprabhu and as Lord is telling in Bhagavad Gita also, apichet suduracharo bhajite mam ananya bhak sadhureva samanta samyak vyavasito hita. Even if somebody surrendered devotee, still if it somehow or the other falls down or performs certain abominable actions because of whatever small things, attachments, then still Lord will protect them, or spiritual master will protect them, bring them back. So compassionately. And the same way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went back to Kala Krishna Das, where he was taken away from his service, from his association. Then I went back there, and then they tried to hurt Mahaprabhu with their weapon. They have mystic powers. They throw so many weapons to him. Then the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. Then immediately whatever they threw, everything went back, and they were wounded, they were killed. So all this, they went back. Those weapons again went back to them. Whoever threw, whoever done this. So in this way we can understand. So how the external energy works under the purview of Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. Everything is happening under the direction of the Supreme Lord. External energy cannot act independently without the Supreme Lord's power. Whatever the mystic power, everything has to be under the purview of the Supreme Lord. So that's what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu protected, brought back Kala Krishna Das during this yatra, brought him back when he came to Jagannath Puri. It's been 1 year when they came back. Kala Krishna, he brought them back. And then at that time when he brought back, then he left. Then he told now, because very strict, Mahaprabhu is very strict in his services, in his sannyas, in his association. He was very strict. This is the level 1 devotee. This is the level 1 and 2 and 3. We see the examples. This is level 1. Too much weakness. Too much weakness. And only will be grasped by this mystic powers and so many different things. If you are not seriously engaged and attached to the holy name and the Krishna Katha and associating with devotees and serving devotees, serving the Supreme Lord, worshipping the Lord, taking only Krishna, all these aspects are there. When we are not attached, then we will be automatically grabbed by the external energy, whereas other trivial attachments will come. And so that's what happened. Then Mahaprabhu brought him back. Then he told, you cannot be in my service. Then he told Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya what has happened. Then he let him go. Now, so the devotees are very merciful. So Lord Nityananda Prabhu has taken mercy. Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Jagadananda Pandit, first Lord Nityananda Prabhu heard, and then he devised a plan. So that's why Lord Nityananda Prabhu is even more merciful than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jagai and Madai was given mercy by Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Lord Chaitanya went to actually punish them because they tried to injure Nityananda Prabhu. Even in that case also Lord Nityananda Prabhu is very tolerant, very merciful to them. And it has been explained, Kala Krishna Das, even to get the glories of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the travels, what has happened, everything, get the details. So even today in Chaitanya Charitamrita, because of the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Kala Krishna Das, when Mahaprabhu left him, then Nityananda Prabhu took him and then told him, okay, now you go back to Navadvip Dham and then explain all the pastimes. Tell Sachi Mata that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned from South India Yatra and came back to Jagannath Puri, and explain about all the traveling pastimes to Sachi Mata and all the other devotees there, Advaita Acharya. So, and then obviously Jagadananda Pandit and Damodar and I think one more devotee. Total 3 devotees and Nityananda Prabhu. They devised in this way a plan with the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. He is being engaged again back in service. May not be directly in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's in the association, but by the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he was sent to Navadvip Dham. Then he was in the association of Sachi Mata and then Advaita Acharya. They have been given the news. So in this way, he has been engaged. This is the level 1 devotee, too much attached to this external beauty things. Then the second thing also we see that in the case of Junior Haridas, Chota Haridas, he was attached to, he was in a white brahmachari. Then one day Mahaprabhu went to somebody's house, was invited to the house of, I forget I think not Suklam, somebody else, I think. They invited for prasad. Then this Junior Haridas was there, Chota Haridas was there, and then he went to, I think, the Suklamur Brahmachari only maybe, or somebody else. He has told him, okay, go and get the rice, finest rice, and he knows this lady also is advanced devotee, not ordinary devotee, is also beautiful. So then he went to get the rice, he got the rice, but he was talking to her. So then Mahaprabhu, seeing this, Mahaprabhu is very strict in this way. When they cooked and when they fed Mahaprabhu, then Mahaprabhu would understand, he will not have this kind of rice. Where do you get it? Then he told where he got it. Then immediately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected him. So he didn't allow him. So many people persuaded him. This is level 2. Maybe I would say this is level 2 and the first Junior Haridas is level 1, so lowest maybe, because he was not even brought him back into service again. He is because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to establish the examples. Otherwise, devotees will take it very lightly. So regulations must be there. Principles must be very carefully implemented. Practices must be very seriously implemented, followed. So whatever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whatever Shastra is teaching us, otherwise we become slack, and then immediately external energy can take up, then we may speculate things, we'll lose our faith, we'll again may not perform devotion service properly. So again we'll fall down to the lower modes. So in Junior Haridas, Chota Haridas also that's what happened. Then immediately Mahaprabhu told him to leave. Then he almost I think a year or so he waited. Mahaprabhu is going to call all. So many devotees persuaded Mahaprabhu. Then he told, "No, you all be here. I will leave this place. If you want him to be here, then I will. You keep him. Then I will leave." Then nobody could argue with Mahaprabhu. So then Mahaprabhu didn't invite him back. Then Chota Haridas has been in that way. Then 1 year or so he left. Then he finally went to, and the Mahaprabhu told, I think, for you, I think you have to give up your body. If you are attached to this woman and other things, then it is better to give up this body. It's almost like in Prabhupada's case, also Prabhupada's example. Prabhupada's case also, Vishnujan Maharaj's case also, something like that happened. Means just talking about, I think this is much later though. He was talking about and one time about his wife or something. Later on, is after sannyas. Then Prabhupada has said something related to the same as Mahaprabhu told Haridas Thakur, Junior Haridas. So it is better to give up this body or something like that. Just giving Shastra example of Shastra. Too much attached to money or woman or something like that, especially in that sannyas position. So our brahmachari position. So here also that's what happened. Then, but it has been told in both the cases. Haridas also. Then he did he drowned in Ganga or Yamuna, and then Mahaprabhu was listening. He was singing songs to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu, nobody knew what is happening, but in a body, subtle body, he was singing songs, and then Mahaprabhu was listening. Then Mahaprabhu told the devotees where he has gone. Haridas, did you find him? Then Mahaprabhu told them, then what has happened. Then he attained, means he's going to attain spiritual body. That's what Mahaprabhu told. Because still he had that feeling that what he has committed is a mistake, and he has understood what he has done. And he is seriously, sincerely, very deeply attached to Mahaprabhu, and thinking that way Mahaprabhu has given him mercy. But to establish the rule and seriousness of the situation, then he has to establish that kind of principle. And Prabhupada also told others about Vishnujan Maharaj. He went back to also spiritual world because of his service. So much kirtan he used to do morning to evening. Sankirtan, he used to go out and distribute books and perform Sankirtan along with Jan Prabhu in San Francisco. Vishnujan Maharaj, great kirtaniya, wonderful service he has done to Sri Prabhupada. So that's why this is the mercy of, by the mercy of pure devotees, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Prabhupada, advanced devotees. So we can be, even if there are some shortcomings, as long as we are under the guidance of the mentors and the guide, then we will be able to be advanced in our life, spiritual life. So we will be rightly situated. So that's what we can see. The example 2, level 1 and level 2, and also we can also see sometimes we may argue with spiritual master. Sometimes we may have that different kind of tendencies. In the case of Damodar Pandit, he was arguing with Mahaprabhu. One day, one boy, beautiful boy, used to come every day. I forget whose son he was. Very close by where Mahaprabhu used to live. He used to come every day, and Mahaprabhu used to talk with him nicely. This boy, his mother is alone. She was, her husband was not there. He passed away. So that's what Damodar Pandit started criticizing or started telling, instructing Mahaprabhu. How can you do this? You are sannyasi. What others may think? You are keep on talking to this boy. So people may think differently, and so many different ways. He didn't stop. He kept on going on and on for days. Then Mahaprabhu finally, because obviously Mahaprabhu is also setting an example. Yes, nobody can correct. You are the only one who can correct me. So you are very strict. So that's why now you should be sent. Then he sent him to Navadip Dham again to be with Sachi Mata, serve him. Everybody acts in a proper way. So as per strict principles, how much we should eat, everything according to the time, place, circumstance, and position, Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya, according to the what position they are in, how much they have to take and how to behave. He used to be very strict, and he was giving the instructions to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, in one sense, Prabhupada is saying, Acharya is saying, that shouldn't be the case. He shouldn't be instructing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Supreme Lord himself. He knows, he is aware of the principles. He shouldn't be instructing. But on the other way, Mahaprabhu also want to set the example that so the correction. So he also understood. Yes, what you said is right. So he accepted. Means sannyasa means whoever is in that position has to be very strict. So in this way, we understand these lessons. Weakness in the heart. So this weakness can be of this, giving instructions to superiors and elders. We shouldn't be giving instruction to superior. In the class, it's fine, general instruction, but otherwise, that's why when Vidura met Maitreya Muni, Vidura met Uddhava, Uddhava didn't give instruction. Uddhava paid obeisances because he is junior. But in devotional service, he is more attached, he is more close to Krishna in that way. Vidura knows that. So, but that's why Vidura asked, please give me instructions, enlighten me, give me self realization. Then Uddhava didn't do that. Uddhava immediately told, no, please meet Maitreya Muni, is very close by, and he will give. He was also there with me, with Supreme Lord. He will give he will answer all your questions. Please take knowledge from him. So in this way, we see that Vaishnava etiquette. We see the principles, how to instruct, whom to receive, how to be taken shelter of a spiritual master, advanced devotee, how to act. All these things we should understand from Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Bhagavad Gita. So here also we see from Arjuna's case how we should behave, how we should have always mentor. Guide must be there. Under somebody's guidance, we should act. So that way it helps us to progress. Somebody is checking what's going on with us, whether we are on the right track or not, how to follow, so how to implement, how to execute, how to be enthusiastic, where we are lacking, how to come out of the various these shortcomings, trivial attachments. So all these things must be require. All these things must require a leader, guide, mentor. Even the IT jobs also this is there. Even the business circles also that is there. They also meet. They also discuss how to improve business, what can be done, so how to execute business. Same thing, much more seriously should be done in this spiritual devotion service. Much more. That's what we have to learn from this verse number 2 and 3. Already 9:04. Any questions? We'll sing Chaurashtam. I think Deepak Prabhu joined. Meda is going to sing. Deepak Prabhu, you are on time. I will take some few questions and then get ready to sing Chaurashtra.
Hare Krishna, no question, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, any questions?
No question, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, no question, Prabhu.
Okay. We'll sing Chaurashtra. Deepak Prabhu, Meda is ready.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Do I sing line by line or do I sing the whole thing?
Yeah, one line at a time. You sing. No, we will not repeat because of the time is 9:11 already. You just sing and then we will sing on mute. You sing, we'll sing along with it. To see, I posted that Chaurashtam. Everybody can refer on the group I posted. So you can open that. Yeah, go ahead. You can start. You can unmute and start. Yeah.
Rajit नवनीतचौरं गोपाङ्गनानां च दुःकुलचौरम् अनेकजन्मार्जितं पापचौरं चौराङ्ग्रगण्यं पुरुषम् श्रीराधिकायाय
You're getting cut. Your cell phone signal probably weak. Go ahead, go ahead. Haribol?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah, go ahead. Second verse. Sri Radhikaya Yasya Choram.
वीराधिकाया हृदयस्य चौरं नवं बुधश्यामलां कान्तिचौरं पदाश्रितानां च समस्तचौरं चौराङ्ग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि अकिञ्चनीकृत्य पदाश्रितं य करोति भिक्षुं परोधिहीनं दृष्टाश्रुतो वानजगत्त्रयेऽपि यदीयनामापि हरत्यशेषं गिरिप्रसारानपि पापराशिन् आश्चर्यरूपो नानुचौरयेदृक् दृष्टाश्रुतो वानमाया कदापि दानं च मानं च ततेन्द्रियाणि रणंष्ट हर्त्वा मम सर्व एव पलायसे कुत्र धृतो त्वं भक्तिधामसि माया निरुद्ध चीनत्स घोरं यमपासबन्धं भीनत्स भीमां भवापासबन्धं चीनत्स सर्वेस्य समस्तबन्धं नैवात्मनो भक्तिकृतं तु बन्धं मन्मानसे तामसाराशि गौरे कारागृहे दुःखमाये निबद्धं लभस्व हे चौरहरे चिराय स्वचौरदुष्टमेवं दण्डम् कराग्रहे वस सदा हृदया मध्ये मद्भक्तिपाशदृढा बन्धना निश्चलेशन् त्वं कृष्ण हे प्रलयकोटि सन्तत्रेऽपि सर्वस्वचौरा हृदया नहि मोचयामि
Sri Chaurashtakam ki jai.
नजे प्रसीदं नवनीतचौरं गोपाङ्गनानां च दुःखुलचौरम् अनेकजन्मार्जितं पापचौरं चौराङ्ग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि.
Thank you. Chauragraganyam Purusham Namam. So we'll read the translation. Go ahead. Taruni Radha Mataji, you can go ahead. First translation. First verse.
I offer my respectful obeisances to that foremost of thieves, whose fame is in Vraja as the butter thief, and he who steals the gopis' clothes, and who, for those who take shelter of him, steals the sins which have occurred over many lifetimes.
Accrued over many lifetimes. Okay. Me. The phone, please, on 1 minute. Let me unmute them. Sorry. Where is this phone? Krishna, yeah, go ahead with second one. Who's that? Ashish Karna Prabhu, go ahead with the second translation.
Prabhu, in front of me there is no translation, that's why.
Okay, about Satyabhama Mataji, you are in front of the computer or the cell phone. You can read second translation.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Number 2.
Yes, Prabhuji. One moment, Prabhuji. Let me take my glasses.
And Ramesh Prabhu, you are next. Be ready. And then Sanjay Sharma Prabhu. So be ready next, like that.
Okay,
in line we will go.
Okay, Prabhu.
So that everybody gets opportunity to know. Even one line, one translation, we can practice.
Number 2 translation, right? Prabhuji?
Correct. Go ahead.
Number 2, right?
Yes.
I offer my respectful obeisances to the foremost successful who steals Srimati Radhika, who steals the dark luster of the face in cloud, and who steals all the pains and sufferings of those who take shelter of his feet.
Okay. Ramesh Prabhu, go ahead. Number 3.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. He turns his surrendered devotees into paupers and wandering, homeless beggars. Such a fearsome thief has never been seen or heard of in all the 3 worlds. Hare Krishna.
Haribo. Next, Sanjay Prabhu. Sanjay Prabhu, you are there? Unmute. Okay, looks like he's busy. Sri Ram Prabhu, you are there? Okay, he's also busy. Next, I think who's that? Sri Vidya Mataji or Kartik Prabhu? One of them, I think, 571. I don't know who. Then Dan Ellen. Hare Krishna, you are there? Or Venkat Prabhu?
Prabhu, I am there, but not, I don't have in front of the.
Okay, let me read them. Let me read. Don't know.
Prabhuji, can I read one?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead with the translation for next one. I think 4.
Which verse is it?
Number 4.
Number 4. Okay. He utterance of his name purges one of a mountains of sins. Such a extraordinary, wonderful thief I have never seen or heard of anywhere.
Okay, Chaurashtakam ki jai, verse number 5. O thief, having stolen my wealth, my honor, my senses, my life, and my everything, where can you run to? I have caught you with the rope of my devotion. Because of time, I'll just read along. Number 6. You cut the terrible noose of Yamaraja. You serve the dreadful noose of material existence. And you slashed everyone's material bondage, but you are unable to cut the knot fastened by your own loving devotees. Number 7. O stealer of my everything, O thief, today I have imprisoned you in this miserable prison house of my heart, which is very fearful due to the terrible darkness of my ignorance. And there for a very long time you will remain, receiving appropriate punishment for your crimes of thievery. Verse number 8.
Prabhuji, can I read number 8?
Yeah, go ahead.
O Krishna, thief of my everything.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Mataji. The noose of my devotion.
You will continue to reside in the prison house of my heart, because I will not release you for millions of aeons.
Okay. Thank you. Chaurashtakam ki jai. So please offer ghee lamp at home and sing this. It is available in the internet. I posted. You can play. Actually, there are videos also from Naru Gopal Prabhu or Govind Prabhu, others. So, okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Granadharaj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Shukopad ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.